Hi, good morning or good afternoon. Hey, how's it going over there? Thank you for joining. Um, I didn't actually think I was going to be on today, but I needed a moment to ground. And also, we've had some pretty intense, let's just say, astrological transits in the past just to say month or so, and a lot of it is actually coming to an end, and started coming to an end this past week. So on the 5th, which was Saturday, eclipse season came to an end. Just yesterday, Mercury is no longer in retrograde, it just stationed direct. And then this coming weekend, I believe Saturday, we have a full moon in Libra, and then also in parallel to that, Venus is also moving out of retrograde into, and also moving into direct. So that's a lot. Um, what does that mean exactly? I mean, eclipse season tends to bring out a lot of chaos, and I think generally with eclipses, there's always to I've always noticed there's always a lot of planets in retrograde, which causes additional chaos, um, and so with eclipse season coming to an end, it could create a little more stability, a little more grounding, and we may feel, again, a little less chaotic and all over the place. This coincides a lot with Mercury going direct in Pisces. And this is a kind of an interesting transit because, again, Pisces tend to be pretty dreamy. It could help us, rethink about things that we've been wanting. Um, and in addition to this, because the full moon is in Libra, Libra is all about, balance. It could also be about justice and finding justice. And so, with that being said, um, these transits could also bring, let's just say, second chances, and things that maybe miss opportunities during this chaotic time. It also could bring to light certain things that you want long term. So, for example, or, certain, let's just say, realizations that may have happened during this time, and that now you can think a little more clearly about like how to obtain this. In addition to like balance in Libra, you could also think about this in a financial aspect. If you're in the US, you may have taxes due, or we all have taxes due in the next week or so. I know anytime tax season comes up for me, I tend to think about my finances a little more seriously. Not that it's not serious, but I tend to not. I'm blessed in, my my stability financially, but I want to be smarter about my money, and I tend to kind of not plan. So yes, now that all of this is coming to an end, I feel like I am thinking more clearly about these things, and maybe there are certain, um, you know again, things that you learned during this time. I had, a lot of, honestly, this time has been super chaotic for me. A lot of travel, a lot of seeing old friends, which is great for the retrograde, but also making me realize a lot of things about certain relationships that I have, and, how to approach the certain relationships. Like, do you guys also have friends from different groups, different timelines of your life? And, although they're amazing friends, maybe those friendships have changed a little bit now that, time has passed. I'm seeing that a lot in the current phase of my life right now compared to, where other people might be. Anyway, that was a long rant. The it's just really nice. Let's just end with, it's just really super nice to finally be in a place that is a little more stable, less chaotic. The eclipse, the retrogrades really shook things up, in terms of being super scattered, um, feeling stretched really thin. And yeah, it is a time to really go inward. So hopefully this time gave you some, you know, learnings and things that you can take on now that you have more clarity as to like how to move forward. Um, so yeah, that is really, I think the biggest piece of these transits. Um, I think, it's a great time to manifest, especially given that, I mean, Aries season started maybe a couple weeks ago about. Um, and I may have said this on the last stream that I had, but um, Aries season usually, brings about a time of action. It is, the spring equinox, so you feel pretty alive. Except for me, I felt the opposite. And I think because all those different planets were in retrograde. Well, lucky us, they're moving out of retrograde. We're still in Aries season and really taking advantage of the moment that we have with Aries and this energy, um, of taking action. Maybe that's creating a plan. Maybe that's spring cleaning. We also have Taurus season coming up. It kind of goes hand in hand, of like wanting to take action, but also finding some moments for grounding. So, yeah, that was a lot. And yeah, I'll do a quick spread just in honor of how. Just in honor of these transits. I mean, wow, it's been a really crazy ride. I've been all over the place. I'm sure you guys have been feeling it too. Um, and yeah, I hope that, you know, um, this little quick read of how we can kind of embrace what's to come, with these transits that are happening upon us. And yeah, some maybe some clarity or some messages. Hello, Divine Readings by Christine. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. Oh, by the way, this is kind of I'll just side note this. I have all these flowers. I figured it'd be kind of nice to bring in this beautiful, this abundance of flowers that kind of stumbled upon, my lap, let's say. In the last couple weeks, I've been manifesting, um, or just thinking about this like creative shoot I've been wanting to do. And so I've been just thinking about like flowers and how flowers, represent fertility and life and how it, spring. And so just this week, I ended up getting a large bag of flowers from my cousin's bridal shower because nobody else wanted to take them. So here they are. And yeah, it's kind of nice just to have them around. I don't know if you guys feel the same of just, plants and having such like, I don't know, things that just vibrate life and grounding around you. So it's really nice to be like surrounded by this right now. My kitchen is actually just like it's kind of like flower overload, but yeah, I'm hoping to do this shoot this week before these guys kind of move on. So let's see. Hi Zara, so nice to see you. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining today. We were just talking about these crazy transit that we've had and how the eclipse, how we've had the eclipse season, how we've had Mercury and Venus in retrograde, and how it's created a lot of chaos and feeling scattered, and how that is now passing. So, kind of doing this pull in honor of this time and embracing this moment of clarity, moment of taking action in Aries season, and moment of like committing to the things that we've been thinking about. Yeah, one other thing I'd love to just get a feel for: how is your guys' year going? I started out, by year I mean like the Gregorian calendar year. I started this year with like so so many projects that I've wanted to do and things that I've wanted to do. And I think honestly with the transits, it's been hard to do any of it. I've felt really stretched pretty thin, and I'm feeling the weight of like, oh, I wanted to commit to these things, but I think with this, like, with all of this lifting up, I'm feeling a bit lighter, so um, less chaotic, and also finally have some time for myself. So I'm hoping that you guys kind of feel the same in terms of how these things are moving. But yeah, let's see. Um, let's see how can we embrace this time, and yeah, what can we look forward to? Hmm. Oops. Hmm. Oh, this is really interesting. Okay. So, I just did a 3 card pull. We have here the Seven of Cups in reverse, the Chariot. Wow, I haven't seen the Chariot in quite a bit of time, and the Hermit in reverse. Um, and I'll break this down a little bit. So the Seven of Cups in reverse. This is interesting. If you look at the Seven of Cups, there's a lot of choices here. Some look, really grand in terms of like jewelry or things that are super shiny, but then you see like a phantom and other things. So I typically think about this card in a way that is about being a little more selective about where you put your energy, where you make your choices. This is like you have an abundance of choices and options, but to be super careful of like where that energy is put. And it kind of just goes in line with exactly what I was saying before, um, in the sense that I had so many different, let's just say, uh, goals to start. I also went through a period, especially during the eclipse, of like, there's so many things I have to do. There was work, there was seeing friends, there was, entertaining. There was a lot, and I think also, it's it being inverse could also mean that this is kind of coming to an end, but also still think very carefully of like where the energy is spent and where the energy is put. Some things may look better than others, and some things may be super impulsive. I feel like I was really impulsive then, so kind of just to reflect on doing this a bit better, and use those lessons to kind of come into this, step into this new um, transit, where things are a bit more grounded and less chaotic, um, and to approach that with knowing these lessons now. So yeah, that is really interesting. Wow, the Chariot. It's been a while since I've seen the Chariot. Um, I love just looking at like the, let's just say, how much this, I mean, the Chariot shakes things up quite a bit. Um, the Chariot, like, what year was, yeah, of course, it's the seven. So I'm trying to think. It was just a couple years ago that we had the card of the year was the Chariot. Um, it, you can see that there's the two, let's just say, they're not lions, but the two, these guys, sorry, my brain today, uh, represent a lot of duality, and balance. The chariot also indicates, a journey or a quest. It could mean taking a decisive action and focusing energy. Um, to reach a specific goal. I know I talked about this a little bit when we first started in terms of, maybe there were certain goals that you had that didn't necessarily get to take action, especially during Aries season. It feels like, oh, I want to do all these things, but maybe a lot of things came your way, like it did for me. Um, and so, really taking maybe just one specific goal and moving towards that and trying to reach for that, and really planning for that. And I think it kind of goes into hand with this card in terms of there's so many things. You could be like allured into so many different things and wanting to do so many different things, but it's really time to like focus and take action, especially harnessing this like tail end of Aries season. Um, and then lastly, the Hermit reverse. So the Hermit, um, is exactly what you think about when you see the Hermit. The Hermit is about going inward. It could be also related to like the death of ego, the death of life, but really, time spent alone. And so this could mean potentially, especially as inverse or reverse, sorry, that it's time to kind of um, take those. I don't. I mean, in terms of times of isolation, it's like a time to go inward. Um, but now I think it's about taking those learnings when you were, maybe spending time going inward, especially during a Mercury retrograde. What are those lessons that you had? What are those things that you learned, and how can you like kind of move forward, take action, create a plan? And the journey for this, I guess, let's just say astrological year is just getting started. So that's really exciting. Yeah, I'm starting to definitely feel the Aries energy in the air, as these things dissipate. And I hope that you guys are also able to take time to harness this energy too. Um, it's definitely been a lot, and yeah. Um, all right. That's kind of all I have today. I appreciate you guys joining. I hope to be on again next week, hopefully as time permits. But hoping you guys have a great, um, easy Mercury going direct. I know usually when this happens, it could feel like, it's like kind of a lot because you're still kind of in the shadow period. But I think as the week goes on and we move into the full moon and Venus going direct, and we like fully feel the Aries, the tail end of the Aries energy, in the last week, this last week or so that we have. Wow, time is really flying. That we're able to really move forward, take action, take our lessons that we learned during this like chaotic time, and yeah, just do what we can. Anyway, thank you so much for joining, guys. I will see you hopefully next week.